Are you like me? Do you think that Butler, Pennsylvania on July the 13th was an inside job? I've studied it. I've studied it real carefully. I've looked at a lot of data. I've looked at a lot of information. I looked at Director Cheadle. I looked at Ron Rowe, the acting head of the Secret Service, and I looked at a lot of commentators. It seems to me that the number of failures, when you aggregate them, leave the inescapable conclusion that the Secret Service was either inviting someone to come in by burying their head in the sand, by not providing the safeguards that were necessary, or actually, I believe that the deep state was behind the attempted assassination. Now, our frequent listeners to the truth know why I say that. There's a mound of evidence that I could go through. But I'm just going to leave it at that for right now, because the point that I'm getting to is that if you agree with me, my suspicion that it was an inside job, it leaves the inescapable conclusion that Donald Trump is not safe today. I really worry about, and I pray for President Trump's safety. I pray that we can get him inaugurated on January the 20th and install him safely and securely in the White House. But as a recent Newsmax article pointed out, a gunman is only one way that someone could attempt to do harm to President Trump. Someone could use a dirty bomb, they could use a missile, they could use a rifle, they could shoot down an airplane with President Trump on it. So there are a lot of potential means of doing harm. It's complicated if the people who are protecting the president are either not capable, and that's the best that you can say, or are in some way complicit. Now, Christopher Wray said that they had no information of a credible threat against President Trump. That's the same guy who said that he thought that the injury to President Trump's ear was possibly just shrapnel. So I don't believe anything that Christopher Wray says, because he as much as said that he was aware of no FBI agents or confidential human sources that were present during the January 6th riot on the nation's capital in 2021. Then Michael Horowitz issues his report as the Inspector General of the United States and concludes that there were at least 26 confidential human sources inside the Capitol on January the 6th. So that just leaves the inescapable conclusion for me that Christopher Wray is not trustworthy. And that feeds into my suspicions about the deep state, which fuel my concern for the safety of President Trump. Well, look, I don't think that I am the only one. Newsmax obviously has voiced that concern in their report issued today. And they also identify our adversaries as possible threats to President Trump's safety. So at a minimum, President Trump is one of the bravest people that I know, and we need him. We overwhelmingly elected him. Now, another concern about President Trump's safety relates to his health. He is getting up in age. I'm sorry, Mr. President, but you need to shred a couple of LBs, my friend, and maybe push those Big Macs aside and eat some chicken or fish. But a stroke or a heart attack is a legitimate concern, as Newsmax points out. And then there is a real concern about the health of our economy as President Trump takes office. And he's inherited some serious, serious problems. Runaway inflation is still an issue. High interest rates are hurting the American citizen and homeowners and people who borrow money and have to pay rising interest rates. And then this looming federal budget that is completely out of control, he's going to have to deal with that as well. One other data point. Do you remember on November the 6th, the market took a huge shot up. It went up to just under 6,000 on the S&P 500, and the Dow Jones Industrial Averages went up about 600 points in one day. That's a big rise. Well, the bad news is we've given a lot of that back since November the 6th. And if you watch the market, as I do every day, and I study it every day, it seems to be going sideways. What does that tell you? To me, it tells me that there is uncertainty and a certain amount of insecurity in terms of the market and where it's going. And I think that people like me are nervous about the inauguration. I want you to join me and pray for President Trump's safety. I want you to join me and be ever vigilant. We've got 77 million Americans who voted for President Trump. Now that's one heck of a community watchdog army. So let's all be watchdogs over the next 7 days. See something, say something. Now, I'm not going to be scared. President Trump's not scared. I do hope that he is taking every precaution, and the people around him are insisting that they take precautions, that they have their own independent security looking over the shoulder of those who we entrust with the president-elect's safety. And that's the truth. And I'm John Gordon.